Outside of Half Moon Bay in Sacramento. I'm calling my dad. My dad is like weeks away from dying, basically. He just had his fourth heart attack. He doesn't believe in cryonics, so he won't do it. But it's nice to call my dad anyways. And hey Ron, I think you started, this is the end of the tree?
This is the beginning.
Oh, it's the beginning. You sure we missed it?
Oh no.
Yeah, sorry guys, we're going to start at the beginning of the tape really quick. Just click in the front.
Hi, Zoltan. Sorry, so
No problem. You get to see at least the video. So this is, no problem. This is the beginning when we all have all these, we have film crews. Like I said, we have people flying across the Atlantic to be here. And all of a sudden, this is just the minor part of the oil leak. The real part happened far away. And all of a sudden we were able to, have to deal with it. You can't drive when you have an oil leak of that magnitude because the engine will boil down. And an engine of this capacity is literally, much more costly than the bus. So everyone's upset. We just crossed the Golden Gate Bridge. It's like the first 2 hours.
What year was the bus? What year was it?
1978.
And you go to a junkyard, you get a guaranteed engine.
I had on my campaign trail. I don't have 2 hours anymore. And we don't have the funds to anyone else to do it. So here I'm calling my dad. And he's, so you can see the robot in our driver's seat, my passenger seat. So this went on into the night, into midnight, as we were trying to work out the problems with the bus, starting it, stopping it, deciding if it was overheating.
We haven't tested enough right now. The testing has shown that. I heard your message though.
We eventually drove it back somewhere to Half Moon Bay, because we were in the middle of nowhere. And, this is what I've been doing for like, I'm like totally oily, of course. And you have to understand, again, it's the first 4 hours of the trip.
Eventually, where we drove now, it seems to be pretty stable. But I need to make a phone call real quickly to see. The problem is that it looks like we're losing more oil. It's hard to know if it's just the collection that was there. Probably not. We're probably losing oil. The question is really, are we losing enough that over a 2-hour period makes even a difference in our trip, other than every 2 hours we add some oil. At least we can get there and deal with it there. We're certainly going to be better to deal with this on the truck stops anyways.
So anyways, we just had a short video, and it was just creating drama, and it was, that ended up being said.
Right now, if it was up to me, I would say, let's continue onward, and I'm going to go buy a ton of oil, enough to get us over the hill, and get some burst through.
And of course, all the journalists are skeptical. They don't want to get stuck in the mountains or something for the night.
At the same time, I'm still not sure what problem we have.
So, anyways, that was the end of it.
So what shapes it in now? I mean, you're gonna be able
So we ended up like kind of doing some modifications and realizing that the amount of oil we're losing is minor, and that we had one giant spill at first and it may have come from the cap, which we tightened and stuff like that. So now it's fine. We think it's still losing, but it's not something that's devastating anymore. We can manage it. So that's where the bus is now, though we're going to have it looked at some point. But when you first deal with these things, you don't know. All you see is an overheating engine and a big thing of oil in the ground, and all of a sudden you're like, you can't drive your car more than 5 miles before you ruin it. And when you ruin an engine like that, an oil, from oil, it needs replacement. The heads need to be replaced and all the gaskets. That would be a minimum of a 2 or 3 week endeavor. So ultimately, we were, really stuck. We understand, like, I have a lot on the plate. We had about, $30,000 to $40,000 spent on airfare, camera equipment, all this other stuff, sort of relying on me in order to pull this off. And of course, so when everything goes bad the first 2 hours, it was pretty nerve-wracking. That said, we ended up making it. The following day, we got to our biohacking grind fest, which you saw. Then 2 days later, we got to Vegas, and that's where we did some of the work. And then eventually, we left Vegas after that big expo, and we got here to this event. And I just want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank David for doing it. That's basically our presentation. Sorry it was Mickey Mouse together, but thank you for coming. My family is with me. That little trip was so fun. They're here for just this portion of the trip because this is my wife's a doctor, so it's very hard for her to time it with her schedule. But she took the week off work, so we are all it's been nice to have them on the road, but honestly, the bus is pretty trying. If anyone wants to join us on our tour, for example, we're having this thing down in San Diego, probably on the 21st, maybe on the 20th. Please help us, because what's happening is we have a lot of journalists that want to come with us, but the events only work if there are people there. Otherwise, it looks like I'm some of those other candidates who show up at an ice cream parlor and they're the only ones. Who was it, Rick Santora or something? He had a milkshake by himself. This is bad publicity. So and much of this trip is really about media. It's about spreading transhumanism and life extension science through the media and getting the broad public involved and hearing about it for the first time. So the real goal is to get people at these events, even if it's only 25, which is plenty, to show our support, and that way everyone's sort of happy, especially with the filmmakers that come. And also, if anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any or discuss it afterwards.
Hey, tell us more about the thing on the 20th.
So, on the 20th there's a friend at Newport Beach who is throwing he has a beach cottage. It's just a small one, but it's more than welcome for anyone to kind of come and just hang out. We'll have a little, something like here, some food, some drinks, and if anyone wants to just hang out with us and be there, it'd be great. It's also going to involve swimming and playing in the water, because it's right on the sand and very close to the water, so it's just a nice thing. And it's really the thing after that I'm really interested in, it's the San Diego thing. We're wondering, because we're originally going to schedule our demonstration for Monday, but that might conflict with people's working schedule. So we might try to go right from the beach house down San Diego. The problem is the bus takes literally 2.5 times longer than normal. I mean, honestly, if you're going up hills to Vegas, we were averaging around 15 to 18 miles per hour up some of the hills. And if you know those hills, they're literally 20 miles long. So what should have been an hour was literally took us 2-3 hours. Yeah, it's at least 2.5 times as long to drive the bus, I'd say, to get places, which is a pain.
So you have an itinerary?
Yes, on immortalitybus.com we have our calendar of events. So we have the second stage plan, and we're ending with a speech at People's Unlimited on September 25th, and we're starting on September 20th here in Newport, and then we have an event in San Diego. We're going to try to fill an event somewhere on the way. We might try to contact Max at Alcor and see if that would work, but at the same time, it's hard to. We don't want people. Now that my campaign's growing, the politics is becoming a little more real, and the journalists that are with us they have very sharp teeth. You actually have to be very careful with them, because if they write something bad, they can sink the campaign. So we have The Verge sending out a photographer from New York City, as well as a photographer and a journalist. And so, it's very funny to be balancing my trip with journalists as opposed to transhumanists, because you honestly have a very different type of behavior. Like, for example, I cussed at somebody who cut me off the other day, and I looked at the journalists, and they were looking at me like, that's the first time we've ever heard Zoltan cuss. And I thought, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to say something like that. But, you forget that when you're traveling with these people that are following you and listening to every single word, you have to be very careful. So we had some very intense conversations at some of the places. We even gambled together, a number of us, and a number of the journalists. So it's a very interesting time to have filmmakers capturing everything, as well as people that are doing daily dispatches. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But yes, we have our itinerary on our thing. And after September 25th, we're not sure what the third stage is yet. We're working on our schedule. But if anyone wants to come at any point, just let us know, because we do take on volunteers. People have to pay their food, their accommodation, and their travel. But other than that, we're stoked to have people generally, because it makes the events better when we can bring a crowd rather than me driving all alone and everyone looking at me like, who's a
So you're actually driving?
Oh, I'm the only driver because of liability reasons. So,
What do you need to drive a
well,
official license?
it takes a lot of practice. It's incredibly difficult to drive the bus. For example, in Vegas, it was in fact today, it was just so challenging in LA traffic. There was construction, they put those roadblocks. The bus is a lot bigger than a normal car. And so it's impossible for someone to just pick it up right away. You actually have to practice in a very open area and then go right away.
Both pilots were used to wings.
Oh, yeah. But for liability reasons, we have, the bus is not a commercial thing. The bus is just a normal motorhome.
Yeah.
That's what it's classified as. But still, it's challenging, especially because the aerodynamics have been changed dramatically because we have this funny top on. It never goes above 55 miles per hour, too. But it's just its size. I'm getting better at it. I haven't crashed yet, but I mean, we took out a nice curve at the Venetian and left a nice big mark along it. So, but that was crazy. It was like the Venetian's this fancy hotel with all these taxis, and here I am trying to maneuver this bus, around. It was quite the spectacle.
Do you have any interesting stories and people stopping you, asking you, what is this?
We do. We had a number of people. It's great because we caught a lot of it on film. We've had some Christians approach us, and we've had a lot of the like body modifiers that earrings to their ears. They loved it. They were like, yes, this is great. I mean, outside of the biohacker group. In Vegas, of course, everyone thought it fit perfectly in. Everyone's like, oh, this is totally normal thing of bus to
No
have.
one even looked at it.
Yeah. So that was I think in LA the bus does pretty well too. It's great advertising. So we have our website on the bus, and then we have it now says with transhumanist Zoltan Ishvan. However, we're going to be redoing that in proper stenciling. We had to do it quickly because honestly, I was behind when the journalists arrived at my house. I was not finished with the bus. I spent all that morning making them wait while I was drilling on the last pieces of it. It was really tough work. And I had wounds all over my hands and dirt and everything still. Because I built the entire top because, again, we're on a major budget. That's our main issue with the bus, is that we have $25,000 to go all the way across the country. We've spent a huge amount of that already. And then we also have to, stay in hotels and pay for food and repairs. And, the whole thing's very trying. So again, donations really help because it's just more costly to go to these places, to put on events and, bring bumper stickers. And of course, sometimes we have to rent cars to help chase vehicles and whatnot. And some of the film crews, we're trying to help them because they're helping us. So, it's and the journalists are all in kind of their expense account, so they really don't care how they travel. They want to stay in nice places, so that's been tough too. But we've been doing a good job so far, and I'd say we'll be all right to get to DC. But I can tell you that it's some things work out just like we wanted, other things didn't. And the one thing, if we get enough donations, we're going to get Wi-Fi for the bus because we don't have it. I mean, journalists that come from Europe are not able to use their phones. So they're kind of upset because they're often disconnected from Wi-Fi for 8 hours a day. That's like not having air. Exactly. Like, ah! And so most of the journalists really said, if we ask one thing for you, Zoltan, get Wi-Fi in the bus. So we're going to look at trying to do that as well. But there's food and drinks, so just take a time, and enjoy yourself. So thanks everyone for watching this little presentation, and thank you, David, again for hosting.
You're welcome. And in case anybody hasn't heard, we're holding our annual longevity party October 31st. It's going to be a Halloween party. Futuristic costumes are encouraged, not necessary, but we're hoping a lot of people show up with creative, futuristic type.
Ooh, that's something. We saw some great futurist stuff. Like, there were a lot of Transformers on the Las Vegas Strip. Transformer uniforms. They were awesome, I gotta say.
Wow.
They really did a good job on it. So. Well, thank you, everyone.
By the way, there's some bumper stickers left over. If anybody.
There's bumper stickers if anyone wants them. They're all free. I have business cards too if anyone needs them.